So during this recording, I had a little power outage and my video stopped. So I'm going to have to seam two together in DaVinci behind here. And that's going to be a pretty long video now. And I'll put those together and that's what you're going to be seeing. But actually kind of turned out to be a decent little video because there were quite a few places where I had made some mistakes and had to go back and figure out how to do it. And there's quite a bit to learn in this one. So even though it's long, it might be worth it. We'll see what you think. Hello, this is Mark Farrar with Not Square Design. Got my standard information up there if you want to freeze that. If you need to contact me in any way, there's some contact information right there on the screen. So what we'll be doing with this is, in this lesson, I've started a model. It's beams and joinery of the Fisher timber barn. And this morning I was watching a video on Polyline Solids being used in Chief Architect. And it was a version X15 that they were using. So I know the snapping options have greatly improved in X15, which is what we'll be using today. And I have this barn to scale in AutoCAD. So I'm going to create a stripped down version of a model and import it into Chief and see if I can now create solids directly from imported lines. Don't know if that capability is new with X15. We'll find out. And I will still need, or if I will need, still need to trace them. In either case, it should speed up the process. I have started with completely modeling in the 3D solids. So this is the 2D version, and I just want to save this out because I want to get rid of all the extraneous information. And then I can place this over to the side and I can get measurements of what I need out of it on my other screen. But at the same time, just have this guy up and running. This was from me learning this morning. Don't need that. I am working on just half of my monitor because I want the recording to come out decently. But it unfortunately limits my ability to make this bigger than it is. So we'll have to deal with that the way that it is, or I could shift back and forth, I guess, to different halves of the monitor. But sometimes I can be a little careless on getting that done correctly. So let's try it this way for a little bit. If it gets to be too little of space for me, then maybe I'll go the other way around. So, because what I end up doing is splitting the screen, where I would have one screen and one screen, but then you can't really see both happen at the same time, which is pretty neat. So here, if I take my 3D mouse, and these smaller models are a little harder to navigate, but if I come in on this, I'm on one side where I cut the shoulder through, and I cut it all the way through. And I did so by not thinking ahead. Well, so this little portion that's showing right there, it's a small piece of the shoulder, and that may get cut out. So I'm not really sure, and it kind of ended up the same over here, but there's no need to cut that extra piece out. All that is here, let's turn on glass view. Sometimes that can help explain it. But I took this, created this shape of the part I wanted to come out, put it in that spot, and then just use the subtraction tool in the Boolean tools to get rid of that. And then I kind of did the same thing. Well, I did exactly the same thing on this side. And then I wanted this one to be offset from the mortise and tenon that's on this side. So when I do turn on glass, you can kind of see it there. See how they're offsetting from each other. And that's me creating a discussion to have with the timber framer about where we're running the pins for this. So we may or may not be running pins. It'd be kind of confusing to me if we didn't, but that has been one version I've heard, and so I just want to want to figure out what the true version is. So let's switch over to a glasshouse view, and now you can really kind of see inside and see what's going on to an extent. I mean, some of the line work is lost a little bit in here. That should be a line that goes all the way across. It really is. This is not. This cavity only goes this deep, and this cavity goes so far. And maybe I've got an error in here in the way that I modeled it. Let's back up and take a look. Yeah, there might be an error in here. So looks like that mortise might be too deep, and because this tenon, they should barely cross each other, but instead they're kind of doing something different. So this is a 1 inch deep the way I've got it set, and it's gonna. The understanding from the timber framers that'll be 3/8 or less. So I need to reduce that to 3/8. I need this to reduce to 3/8. But right now it's 5 plus a 4 inch tenon. And the 4 inch I understand is correct. 4 inch here I understand is correct. And my mortise should have stopped a total of 5 inches back. And so when I set the beam and stuff in there completely to the right depth, it should have filled the void perfectly. And it looks like I've got some extra space. This looks right. That line length looks like that line length. So if I were to bring this completely into the shoulder here, then, and I'm not sure if I've got shoulder as the exact terminology. There is another floating name out there for the same type of joint. But nonetheless, the mortise and tenon is good. So I've got to, first we're just going to bring in the plans in elevation, and then we'll go from there on see what we need to create, how best to create it. And then I can even probably change these pretty quickly if I have an elevation view of all the little bits and pieces of that same detail. So shrink that down, go to here. I'm just going to do a save as real quick. And then we're going to take it out to what we're going to create is a new folder, which will be our lesson 06, and then dash, and I'll just grab off this other screen the title. Control C, come back in, and Control B. So that may be a little bit long of a name for saving things later, but for now it'll work. So I'll take and I'm going to paste this in here because when I strip it, it's like, oh, I need to save as. So it's just F-barn working finish. And yeah, I'll update the relative paths. That way I can still see my XREFs, even though they're in a different folder. So we'll be able to bring that in and this in as soon as it's simplified. With simplifying, it's going to mean getting rid of everything in here. So to make it faster, I just simply go like that, isolate, come in, get rid of them all at once, delete. And then once I've got all that cleaned up on all those layers, the individual stuff that I don't need, then I will come back in and I will purge everything, a complete purge. So I'm not going to leave anything behind. Boy, those guys are being stubborn. So they are on the end extrude layer, but I bet if I explode one, they're on the inner tags layer. So I'll go back to the home key, and I hit that hatch. That's why it switched. I'm going to isolate those, and then we'll erase all these because I just don't want anything but the drawing. And so it'll be the same deal. Grab those, and it's just a repeat. So I'm going to pause, and I'll take care of that later. Okay, so this is now cleaned up. So this is what I mean by just kind of get rid of everything. And so all I do now is just hit the purge, and well, I try and hit the purge, I gotta click in AutoCAD first. So my voice probably skipped right there, because if I don't click back in AutoCAD after doing anything on OBS Studio for recording, just push turns it on. So we're gonna purge all checked items. Boom. Now, if I look at my layer list, it's down. Oh, I could even get rid of that one. So I'll switch over to there. Looks like there's a frozen layer too. So let's thaw that one out and see if anything showed up. Oh, there is some stuff. Let's get rid of that stuff. Get rid of that stuff. I can't purge those layers if they're being used. So zoom extents. Get a good look. Purge it one more time. And that should get rid of everything. So now when I bring it in, I don't even have to worry about the import of extraneous material into. So I always just do this as a method of cleaning it up, and then I can bring it in. So I'm actually going to even do a resave as. So I'm going to save this as bent 3. No, this is bent 1, 2. This is bent 3, 4. And this is just, I'll just call it LF. Make it short and simple. Timber LF or something like that. So a bent, by the way, is this here, that portion. And then this is a shed, in timber framing terms. So, all right, on to the next. So real quickly here, these are timber LF, bent 1 and 2. So just a little different switch to with the loft, without the loft, and then the side elevation. So I have all 3 drawings. In order to import them, I do need to close. And then we'll bring Chief back up. And as I bring Chief up, I will want to be in an elevation view in order to import them. And turn off my dashboard, not necessary. I have an elevation view already here. And being this is the middle section that I drew and the lengths are correct, it really doesn't matter which one I put it on yet. If I had continued and made this a certain length, then it would matter how I oriented my import of that particular direction. So now I can just do my file and import my DWG. Next, I want to browse out to the file, and that's going to be in here, down to the barn, sorry. And I believe it's here, lesson, where did I put it? There it is. Okay, so now we want the LEV. We want this one, because this is the side we're on. Import only cut blocks that are referenced in the drawing. Yes, that is what I want. I could convert them to polylines if I wanted. Could save some time. We'll see what happens. I can always undo and redo. Don't need the 0 layer, don't need depth points. So I just need these 2 layers. And so I'm going to say next. And then a single layer CAD default could be okay because I don't have the new layer there. So I'll try and define. This is a whole layer set. So CAD default, I don't want to copy the set. If anything, what I would do, oh, here we go. New. And I like to import my stuff into the AutoCAD layer. And I could make it AutoCAD LF, AutoCAD bent 1, 2, but they're all from different views anyway, so it doesn't matter that I just keep it on the AutoCAD layer. I'll say okay. I will change that color though. Let's make it something that'll show up real nicely. I can always change it in the future. Say okay. So now it's coming into the AutoCAD layer. Next. And important. I don't care if it does or doesn't because they aren't there. And move the drawing to the origin. I don't want it to do that. I want to place it because I don't know where it's going to come in. So here it is. And one thing I can do with it right off is block it. Now it's on its own layer, but sometimes it's nice to work with as a block to get it into position. And so all I have to do at this point, oops, I hit the right mouse button by accident. And then I'll just do a point-to-point move. So I'll grab and see if, yes, Oh, no, I can't grab it. Okay, so why I can't grab it is actually the fact that it is blocked. And that's something I hope they change, is that you can actually grab blocks. That would be an incredibly useful piece. I'll try it again, but yeah, you can see it's not snapping. I bet it would probably, yeah, it'll snap to a corner. So if I could draw my slab out real quick. In fact, maybe I'll do that. That way I leave it as a block. But the other way is that I go in and create a layer set. I will call that, sorry, wrong one. And so I come in here, I've got the section view layer. And so I just come in, create a layer set that we're going to call AutoCAD only. And that way I can bring this back itself and reblock it once I move it. So in order to do this, what I'll do is I'll copy the set. I'm going to give it that name, AutoCAD. And then I put it all in caps only. If I do all my stuff that is AutoCAD in caps, the stuff in that just went. We already have. Oh, it's a layer set. Sorry. So I do want a layer set, and so what I'm gonna do is now I can come in here and I can click on an object and say turn that off, and then I got CAD lines. I'll turn that off, and that should kind of. Oops, that went away. Control Z. So this looks like it's on the wrong layer. Oh, look at that. It's telling me it's on the wrong layer. So what I do is I just open it, go to line style, and switch it to the AutoCAD layer. And say, yeah, I don't know why it's not marked as the default. That's how I imported it. But nonetheless, and it didn't turn it green either. Probably because it's a block right now. So now I should be able to click on this and make it go away. There we go. So as far as this elevation is concerned, which doesn't replicate over here, we're in pretty good shape. And I can go to plan view and I won't see that because it's non-existent in this view. And then the other two would be end views. That if I took a shot of the end, once we get to assembling the whole thing together, then that's where that would go. So I'm gonna hit save. We're coming along here, and now I'm actually gonna hit I want to save it at this stage, but I want to save a copy because I would like to have. Okay, I got my individual elements kind of hanging out, and they're not all built, but some stuff. But this thing really should be the Fisher timber frame of barn. And now we can build the whole timber frame piece. And so from here, now that that is in existence, if I want to, I could switch to this side, click on this guy, and then say it's a 3D solid. Okay, so now I can come back over here, come down to 3D solids, turn it on, and there they are. Now I can take this guy, and since it's down out of the way and I'll be able to select it, I'm going to explode it. So my contextual is up top. This is not stock. So if you're not used to it being up here, I just have everything at the top now. So I moved it up here, got that tip off of an internet video I watched, and I like it. So that's exploded. It's also still all selected, but I want to test it. Okay, that is a line. That's a line. So they are individualized. So now I can select it. And now I can do my point to point, I bet. And we're about to find out. So I'm going to go from that point. Oh, yep, it's grabbing it. And I'll come up to that point. Boom. Right height. Everything's going good. Looks like I've got an error in my distance because I have this fully dimensioned. I will open AutoCAD on the other screen so I can verify that things are working out. Overall, it's 42.8 inside to inside. So my overall on this was supposed to be 44 by 44, I believe. I'll look to make sure. So that's 16 inches added to 8, so that's another 24 inches. So that's 44. So I think I'm right. So I must have an error in where this is located. And I may even want to bring in a floor plan view so that I can move things in this plan view just as easily. So I'll work on that. It's the same process. So I'm going to bring in that view, and then I'll probably bring in the two end views too. And it'll all be ready to go, and we can just switch back and forth. Okay, just to demonstrate how this goes, what I have now is the floor plan view here. And make it a little bigger so it's easier to see because it's going to be me positioning in the new piece that was just done. So I'm looking at it from one side or the other. Which way is north doesn't really matter, but it is a side view. And so when I import, I'm going to have to rotate that, that imported this time. And so again, it's the same steps of going to where it's located. I called them stripped. So we're doing level 1 right now because we are on level 1 as shown right here. And I'm going to bring that in. I'm going to say open. And then we'll convert it to polylines, although we didn't do much last time. So then I'll go next. Oh, there's a whole bunch of layers that are in this. Looks like something didn't get purged correctly. So I'm going to go back and purge that AutoCAD drawing. If you see this, you didn't purge it properly. I know I purged level 2 that I cleared, but I must have missed level 1. So we'll have to redo this process, but I'm going to purge back in AutoCAD and then re-import it, and I'll bring you into the final steps of that. So I went back and looked, and it appears that it was stripped. So try this polyline thing. I think I might have not grabbed the strip file, but grabbed the one that said finished. It's still here. I don't have a clue as to why that is happening. So I'd like to figure that out because I don't want to, well, let's try it. I can undo it. I can tell it I don't want this stuff. I do want soffit. I don't want rail. Oh, we want columns. It's these guys. So from here, I come down. I don't want that. I don't want that. I think the north arrow is on in civil tags. So I want that. And I don't need my, oh, I can see it right now. I know what it is. I didn't take off the XREF. And I did shut down my AutoCAD, but did get just a second here. And so I'm going to open that. And here's where the issue is. Over here, I've got an XREF sitting there. I need to detach it. And then everything else should be good. It is on the G junk layer, so that's why that wasn't purging out. So now I just purge. And the only thing should be one layer. Closed. Now she'll work. Let's not close AutoCAD. Just close that. Save it. Come back here and let's try that one more time. And we went stripped. And do the polylines. And there's the list I'm looking for. So just turn off the def points and the 0. The rest I want. Next. Single layer, yes, but I want it to go to AutoCAD. And next, I want to put it in my own location in case I want to explode it and then move it in as one piece. Next, finish. So there it is. Now I'm going to block it. And now that it's blocked, it says it's on the CAD default layer. So I'm going to open that block and change it to AutoCAD layer. Say OK. Now it's not green just like our other one was, but I think I know what's going on there. I think as individual components, they are on the layers they came on. So if I were to select that block, explode it, so I can snap to points. There's another way I can do this too, but let's just check real quick. So if I grab that, see it's on, I don't know what Polyline Labels is, but that's the sure is the color it looks like. No, that's green. So labels. So okay, that's this guy down here. Just giving me some temporary dimensions. That's all that is. So what I'm going to do with this to make it so I can snap to it is you can also come in, and I know where this column and this column are, the ones on the side. So it's this and this. And the distance from this center of this, center of this, center of this, those are the same. This one's shorter. So I'm going to draw a line out from, oops. I need to draw a line out of, come on, snap to the middle. It didn't like the middle, so we'll come off the end. It's fine. CAD default was off, so I'm going to turn it on. Oops, didn't mean to draw another line. Hey, look, it stays in the line command. That's got to be X15, so that's cool. Man, there's some improvements I'm liking. Didn't know they happened, so I'm drafting a little improper right now. So I'm going to extend to that line. So I'm going to hit my extend and extend that down. So that's there. And then just grab this guy and bring it out past. And then I'm going to extend to that. And now I have that intersection. This one I'll delete. So now that I've got those two intersections, I can rotate it and everything as a block. So right now I'm going to come in, grab the, all right, let's go like, how do I not? It's a escape key. I think I can do it this way. So if I were to, let me zoom out a little more. If I were to grab the whole thing, but I don't want that line, I'm going to turn this back into a block. Hit my Alt key, click on that. See, it turned red. Good, it's not selected. Now I can reblock it. Why it's saying it goes out to there, it shouldn't. So when I'm block, then these should not, they are part of that block. So let's see what happens when I rotate. Do they rotate with it? Yeah, they are rotating with it. So that's kind of odd. Oh, it's crossing. So this isn't like AutoCAD where I can select and that's window and this is crossing. They're both crossing because crossing is the default, not default, but the current set crossing right here. So I want a window, I have to set it to that. So now what I need to do is explode that and then come back in, zoom in, hold my Alt and get rid of that one. No, and this. So now I'm going to select it again. And I want to unselect, that's the one I want, right there. Okay, turned red, that's good. And look, my block showing the right size. So block. Now I want to grab all of it when I turn it. So now I just grab my turn handle and turn it to 90 degrees. And now I should be able to say, because I have CAD lines, that point will now be selectable. And so is the point here selectable? That's curious. We're about to find out. Look at that. See when I went over that? Look at that. It shows that they're created correctly on that end. So one of these ends must not be correct. I don't know. Oh, looks like something might be going on there in my temporary dimension in the way. Oh, well, that certainly didn't help. Control Z. Anyway, I'll figure that out later. That's part of the modeling. So right now what we're going to do is position this guy. So we're going to grab that whole thing. And then I'm going to go point to point. Point. Let's see if I can get that center point. And there, locked on it. Boom. We got it. So now I have a plan view. So I can make sure that, yeah, see, this is off. So I want to move that over, and I bet you that's 1 inch. So if I move this over, oh, look at that, it just moved. So it even slid right into place. So that's nice. Then I don't know, because the colors, I can't tell what's going on. So I'd like these soffit, since they didn't come in the right lines and they became polylines. That's selectable, so it's a polyline. So this one is not, unless I, oh, there we go. There we go. And this should not be selectable. And it's not. Okay, so that's okay. So here, I want to copy and mirror about. Now it looks like it's in too far. So that distance looks like it's 2 to me. Like the depth got set in too far. I think that's where the whole issue is coming from. Oh, it moved at this end as well. So how am I going to resolve that? Let's just move it 1 inch. So I'll do transform replicate in the X minus 12 or minus 1. Minus 1, enter. Now it looks like it's in the correct place. That's sticking in there properly. Believe it or not, that moves with it because it is part of it. And it's surprising that you can select that. And it looks like it's not a union with this member, but it sure is. They move together. So now that that's in place, that one's not selectable, but this one is. And it's out of place. It should be the same length, which this one here, just to show you, it's a little different than what the floor plans show because it has this 1 inch shoulder on it. I'm not going to be able to grab it. All right. Am I? Nice. Yeah, I can't. Let's try point-to-point dimension. That point. This is the one thing I do not like about Chief, is I can't do anything but drag. You can't grab a point and then grab the other point and it puts a dimension in. Instead, you gotta zoom. If I zoom in so I can get the point that I want, then I can't do anything. Well, I try and roll my scroll wheel, but I gotta come over here, go over here, zoom in, and drop it. Now, that's 14.6. So the distance from post to post is 14.4. That means that's correct. So I want to copy this over to here. I don't want to mirror it about the line because I want this offset in the tenon to reoccur. But let me check what our lesson plan is and see if we need to go further on this portion. Okay, so as long as I keep the lesson where I'm showing you new stuff, we're sticking with the plan. What I can tell you about this guy is that we're following our plan well, and I'm going to take this beam, which is the correct length, if I can grab it. There we go. And I'm going to try and move it down, but oh, it didn't bump. Good. Okay, so I bumped it to that last point, and it looks like I did union that. So that union is in there. And here, I want that to be off by 1 inch, and this to be 1 inch. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do a point-to-point move and then move it back 1 inch. So point to point so I can get it to where I want it. There. Ooh, look at that, doesn't snap. Maybe down below. So we'll select it again and point to point. And that tenon should stay where it's at. Look at that. Doesn't snap to that. Oh, it's blocked. It's blocked. So what I can do, I can come over here. That should be, oh, that's not the end. Yeah, it is. That's the, oh, not anymore, because the end is way out here. And that's just ridiculous. So I'm going to explode it, because we can isolate it because it's on the CAD layer now. So grab it, we'll explode it, and now we can grab this block. That's a line. I don't need anymore. Delete. That's another piece. That's line. Delete. So I'm after this polyline. So now I can do point to point. There to there. Now move it using my transform replicate 1 inch to get it to where it actually needs to be. That should leave 1 inch at this end. And if I'm correct, the tenon was not connected. Perfect. I didn't connect it because I want to make copies of it. So we can bump it though. Bump it over. Now I'm going to say copy, and we want to copy about. It's not giving me that. Oh, there we go. Boom. Oh, copy to the middle. That's all right. We'll just drag it down. We got one. And I want more than one. So we'll get it down here first. So it's bumping on there, hitting that. But we'll go to there. Now I want to mirror it. I want to flip it about this line, because that's where that one should be. Then I'm going to flip it about the center here before I lose it, so I have that loose piece to make the other one. So I'm going to, oh, I don't want to do that yet. I want to gather it. I want to copy, then flip. Copy, about. There. And now you'll see they're on top of each other. So I just need to now just flip it about there. And now it's in the right place. And that post should be cut out, ready to accept it. We gotta check some of that detail out. We'll probably pull a post away and make sure. Look at that. It went. It did, oh, I just flipped it instead of copy flip. Oops. So definitely want to undo that. Grab, copy, about. All right. There it is. And then I want to move that just about that. And now that's in the right place. We have our other copy at the other end, so this one I can now union. I'm going to hit my union, and I'm going to union with that guy. Do I want to save my original objects? This may seem weird, but if I do, why'd I end up with this duplicate? So that could be handy if it didn't also duplicate the beam, the girder beam, but it would. So that's why I made the copy ahead of time. Otherwise, you can say that, and you just have to realize that you're going to have two beams right here, and then you got to bring one down here to use to create this thing. So I guess in this case that might have been wise, because I am going to bring one down. We'll just set out here for now. I got this loosey-goosey guy, and let's take that, since I got the other one at the other end, and it's already in the right position, I'm going to mirror it about. Whoa, I don't know what I did there. Oh, you can't. I go between AutoCAD and Chief so much I get a little confused. About here, and then I want to bring it about the middle of that, right there. All right, now what you're going to see is when I bring this down, let's say we do what's curious is I should be able to, yeah, it is. It's truly attached. So I think that's selectable. It's still exploded. Yeah, it's still exploded. Okay, so this, I'm going to do point to point. Didn't get the point of the corner. I want to grab the corner itself. Oh, there we go. I had that square. There. That. Where did this? Got the square. Perfect. So that's in the right place, but this one, remember, this is that shorter one. And so I want to bring it back to where this is at. So I can just drag it to there. And now it's going to be the same everything on the other side. So let's take a look. This one is opposite that. There I see an issue. Here I don't, because we're going to be coming in this direction. Or are we? That one kind of comes in up above. And how I could show you that is we've got to open up our AutoCAD and open one of the bents. So look at bent 1, 2. So up at the top of this post. So this is what we're working on right now is we're putting these girders in. Nothing's going to interfere with that spot. So I don't have to worry about something coming in from the side. Let's look at bend 2 because we have that floor system that's right there. Just to make sure that I'm not going to have too much coming out. So this will be down below where that mortise tenon goes. So we'll be in good shape in both cases. So I'll go back to our chief, and that basically means to me that I can grab that and say union, maybe. If you can remember what it is, there it is. There. And no on the original object. So that is there. And I don't want all these CAD objects when I mirror this, but I do want to know where I'm going to mirror it about. So what I'm going to do, now that was the 18-inch high stuff I just did. So this whole CAD thing needs to move down by this distance. So D, not D enter, this is not AutoCAD. That distance is 12 feet even. I don't remember that. So now we're going to go to where we've got AutoCAD only by saying, hey, 3D solids are not visible. The blocks are not visible. None of this other stuff is visible. It's just our AutoCAD. And it's going to be the CAD that's probably still showing up. Okay, I don't want to necessarily flip my or block that. And as you can see, I've gotten rid of some line work when I was deleting. I don't know how that one went away. But all the information is there. I really don't need any of this anymore. So I can delete that, delete that. Oh, I will need it for the next one. But we can even put more in if we wanted to. So this, when I look at it, oh, see, it made up, that's the polyline that it decided to create. So I don't know if telling it to create polylines and try and figure it out on its own is a good idea, because that's not what I intended. So if I were to re-import this, I would not bring it in as a polyline because it's on the layer, so I can still isolate it. So I've got this elevation marker. If you click on it, it'll tell you what to turn off. And so that's not in display anymore. That is dimension. Don't need that. And then I have one other type of camera out here. And we can turn that off. So you can see the camera is still operating. But what I won't see is the camera. Because, and the reason I'm doing this, there's the rail for the loft. It's not hurting that it's there. So I'll probably end up re-importing this at some point anyway. But it also tells me that I imported level 2. They're identical except for that loft. So it's not an issue. It's just for that I imported level 1, but I still had a layer in there for that. None matter. I'm not going to worry about that yet. So it could be that rail is shown in level 1, and it's higher than that. So at any rate, what I'm trying to do is reblock this so that I can now transform, replicate, move it up 12 feet. Enter. Now I can unblock it. And then I want to switch my layer set because this is actually the way I want this layer set to be. So anytime I want to go there, it just comes on. So I go to my working layer set. That's going to pop away. So what I do is I hit copy set because I do like a clean working layer set. And so I'll call this small w with AutoCAD. And now I just come up to my AutoCAD layer and turn it on. So now I can turn that on and off as I want. And I moved it the wrong direction. So it's exploded. It's completely out of way of anything. So I can grab it. Now I can say reblock it. And then let's do transform replicate. And we're going in the Y. Now it's minus 24 feet. And that should land it perfectly. Looks great. So the only thing that's wrong in here at this current moment is the fact that these lines, that line there, does it go all the way along? Delete. Yep. That line was too far away. Well, look at that. So somehow this guy that we just took this and replicated it around. So now this should be independent. It is. There's not one in there. Let's zoom in on here. See what we got going on. It's okay, but not enough information. Yeah, this is working on the small screen it's a pain. Let's bring this back a little. I just need to see the check mark. Oh, I can't. That's as small as she goes. All right. We're going to delete that because I believe this is one piece. So this one I'm going to copy to be the right size even, and copy it about that center point. And then you can see those are opposite. Remember we moved it last time, but that was a bunch of positioning. So what I can do is say, hey, I want to just mirror this about itself. Will it do itself? Maybe it will. Ooh, I got something there for a second. There. It's not what I want. I need to mirror it about itself this way. So select, get my texture menu up. About. There. That's what we're after. Now you can see it showed up here. So that's going pretty good. Yeah, I'm not going to do the top of that. I have to do post for the shed out here. And then we're going to have to put those joints in there so I can show you the steps to create the holes that are in here. And if I wanted, I could take all these members, put them on their own layer. So I could say that guy, 3D solid, and I could actually, say, hey, copy this layer, or in this layer set. But I'd probably do it over here and just make a layer that was called, it'll be up this one. So it'll be 3D solid, but instead girder beam. And that way I can turn those off and on to check the holes in the post by just controlling the layers. So in my working layer set, I don't need to copy the set. I need to make a new layer. So to add a layer, go up here. To add a layer, we're going to go Tools, Layer Setting, Layer Set Management. This is the way I know how to do it. It might be a shorter way, but let's add it to our standard working set. Double click on that. We don't want to add a new set. That's what that new is for. We want to add a new layer. So we're going to call this girder. Got to spell it right. Girder beams. And I could, since there's other 3D solids, well, let's start naming them like they are. So it's nice to have them stick together. So I'm just going to call this 3D girder beams. That'll keep it up there with the other one. Now that's there, and I've got, let's go ahead and make a new one. New layer, which is 3D posts. And so on. We've got the knee braces, so new. We're gonna make those. So 3D knee braces. Gosh, braces. Oh, hit my caps lock. So I'm gonna get some more in there for all the components of this, and then be back. So real quick, got beams, girder beams, knee braces, posts, purlins, rafters. Rafters, but nonetheless, I got to move everything from solids into its individual places. So I'll just pick those and just change the properties. But here's the deal. Before that, what I'm concerned with is that it appears that, well, it doesn't appear, that Chief has definitely stepped up their game with its snapping capabilities and elevations. Now, when I do a section, I'm going to have some issues because what if I want to see this to here, take evaluation of it, but I don't want to see that. So I want to take a thin slice of this, and I want to see that. Let's say I'm looking this way. I want to slice it from here to here, and I don't want that post to accidentally be selected when I'm trying to grab this one. So I don't know the selection capabilities yet. We'll have to find that out in section view. If they change this, the ability to snap in section, because this ability to snap in elevation is a definite improvement. Now, what I am also curious about is I got these new layers in here, and I think they'll carry over. So if I go to AutoCAD only, yep, they're there. So if I wanted to, I think I can even change it right there, yep. So now that's just plural like the rest of them. Just consistency is all I'm doing there. So here, I don't have any of those. So I've got to do it here. And so in order to do it, I got my CADs on, but I don't have my 3D solids. So I'm going to turn my CAD off. Oh, this is AutoCAD only. Let's not do that. So there is that. And now I'm going to go to, let's just go to the working layer set, because then I'm just going to have the 3D elements that I'm dealing with. And so I'm going to grab that and this, and then I'm going to open their properties. And what I'm after is, I think it's in line style, yeah, 3D solids. So these are our girder beams. So if I want to, I can make this stuff start to, hey, let's show up a little brighter. Let's give that one a pink. And say, okay. Now when I deselect, they become clearer. What's going on? So here, that is a post, and then I've got one more post here. Oh, this is not AutoCAD. Hold my Alt key, grab another one. Oh, is it Control? Alt is remove? Yeah, Control. Okay. So got them both chosen, and so now I'm just going to switch those We're not showing. Oh, open. Open, line style, click, and 3D post. And what color we want our posts? Make them green. Okay, okay. Boom. And now we've got some color starting to happen here. And they're even staying, look at it, kind of turn them on. And is this working layer set? Just standard working layer set? Turn them on. Nice. Okay, so that's going very well. And I do want to take this guy and make a copy from point to point. If I can grab, I want to grab that point. I want this point. That's the middle of it. So I'll come to the middle of this. Oh, see, it's not in the right spot yet. So I'm going to come out and drop it straight out. Yeah, that's not going to work. It even looks straight. I'm pulling it down. Look how it's angling. That's odd. It's because I have point to point on. So let's just grab it. Or did I say copy? I did say copy. Point. And we'll grab it from there and go to here. And that's close, but man, why isn't it going perfect? Perfect. That's perfect. There we go. So, the only way we're going to see these guys in this view is to turn them on. So let's turn them all on because we can see them eventually. And let's see what we got going. And so, again, this is just going to be getting harder and harder navigating this little window. What I want to look at is the end because you're going to see a problem here. Come on in. And that problem is that on this last beam, I don't need any of this stuff. That cut out. Now, can I just mend these holes? From what I watched in that video, there's a very distinct possibility that answer is yes. Let's back up. And if I go back to this camera, if I double click on it, come on. Okay, select it, hit the open button. All right, so there is a distance where it starts to cut. Clip surface within 2 inches is what I like. That seems to work very well for what I do. I need to get that in my template. Now I can see the whole thing while I'm nice and close. So what I want to do is come over to where I can see inside there and see if I can pick that surface back there and pull it out. Oh, I can move, that's one to move up and down. So I'm going to Control Z, make sure I undo that. That surface. Maybe it's this one I need to grab. Nope, that one's to go up. Oh, I want to redo. Let's get back in here. Oh, look at it. I need to redo one more. So I get turned off my cut as well. I have a button on my 3D mouse that does undo. So I must have accidentally hit it twice. Let's see which one of these. I've seen it done. I just don't know how to do it. I have a feeling that's going to be one. Yeah, see, it wants to move. I don't know if I drag it there and let go. No. That's up and down, so I don't want that. That one's up and down. We already proved that. See, look at it. It wants to come out, but it doesn't want to come all the way out to here. Can I grab this? Oh, see, that would close both because they intersect. I wonder if that's why this one won't do it and the one in the video would. Is because if I were to turn this on and there was not, and I can see right here, I have an issue with the mortise is not perfectly in. Sorry, the tenon is not perfectly in the mortise. Does that occur down here too? If so, I've got some little bit of modeling work to do on these boys. And yeah, see those double lines? That's telling me that it's not spot on. So I may have to rebuild my posts and use these guys to subtract it out. So maybe while we're doing that, you get to see how it's done. So, I guess we'll just go for it. So here I have my two pieces that I used to cut this out. And if I want to do it right, let's see what we got going on here. Is that's nice and clean on the outside. It's looking really good. That's the way I want it to. I want it to flush out. So the outside worked good. And on our inside, where we cut that out, so this slides in, that worked good. So you don't see any extra hole there. Somewhere it seemed like we had that, but I may have been just a move to adjust situation. See, this is nice. I can see the outline of my shoulder there. And over here, I can't. I can kind of see a ghosting of it. I don't see a line of it. So that's a little curious as to why that is. You know, if it occurred differently on the other side or this was sticking out, I would just say, oh, my beam's off. But I can even see down here, this is nice and flush. Go over to my other one. And that's definitely flush. We got flush there. And that I don't need. Let's get out of our way. I don't need this. I can always put it back if I need it later. That's kind of nice to have. What we'll do is make this post with the true 3/8 shoulder in it. And there's another term for that. So I had an unexpected power outage, and I'm hoping that I can seam these together for you guys. Otherwise, I guess it'll be 2 videos. But what I'm doing is got that place where the end beam has too much. Plus, I think I've got some sort of error going on in here. So I thought, man, I should probably just do this in plan view. And so I'm just going to, let's copy all that. I'm going to copy that and this one. And we'll figure out that, and let's figure out an end one. And I'm going to copy that, just bring it straight over, and figure out how I want these tenons to come through. And so he wanted at first to have a 3/8 shoulder. So if we're going to fix this, let's fix it the way it was requested. And that's an explode. I can get rid of that. And then I can extend out to this side because the other side will be shorter. It'll just be this deep. So line there and line there. I would like it to be, it doesn't have to be a separate line. You could have just chamfered that, but don't know what I'm doing with this whole thing yet. I kind of experimenting as we're going. So here, I want my tenons. So I'd love to have as much meat truly left in this post as is possible. So if it was my choice, offset, he wants these 4 deep into it. And so at this end, I would like that to occur here. So on this one, I'm going to make the one coming from this direction be on this side. So this one will be on this side, and then flip to the other side to be back at the interior. So I'm going to chamfer this. Or I can actually offset the 2. And then let's just chamfer that back. That's my shoulder. I guess it really kind of is there. So if I was to think about it, basically this will come through, and really all of this material is truly a hidden line, which I don't have anymore. So I'm going to come into my layer manager, create a new layer, and do a hidden, and then change my line type. I purged everything, so I have to load the line type. And so I'm going to go hidden and say OK, and a hidden, oh, I don't have the dash in there, I have to fix that, is green, and switch that to a dash. And I wish you could just set your LTS right here, because I've got a more common. They're never just one almost. But in this case, it might be, because what I'm looking to do is create a hidden line, and this is such a small item. I think I'm going to have to go even smaller than a 1. Let's check it out. You can see my crash stuff. I think I've got everything I need now, so I'm going to close my recovery manager. So let's try something like a 0.25. Nope. So we're going to go up to a 6. See if I am thinking wrong. Nope. 0.125. No. Let's go to a 12. I just don't think it's that direction. 3. Yeah. 0.01. Just not getting. Let's see what 0.1 does if I zoom way in. Is this the right direction? That it's tiny. Gosh, it might even be smaller than 0.001. I could switch that to a type hidden 2 and see what we get. So that would actually be going back here, layer properties. Oh, it didn't take, or I didn't set it, one or the other. So that need to be hidden. Okay, now we got something probably in the works. So let's go back to 1. That's looking pretty good. All right, so that'll show that we've got hidden when we're zoomed in close, because we're not worried about printing this at this point, and we'll enlarge it for details. So there's that one. Now what I want to do is I'm going to mirror this across the middle here. Yeah, it does overlap. So I kind of wanted to prove that. So let's extend all the way to here. And then I can mirror that about here, there, that about there to there. Doesn't really matter where. And then I'm going to mirror this about the midpoint. And I'm going to say yes. I want the old one gone. And then just MA, match properties on that. So this is just the shoulder. I could show it passing. The shoulder's part of the bigger picture of cutout, and this is shorter when you look at it from the side. So maybe I should draw that from the side real quick, just so it's understood. That would mean putting in an elevation view, and working that out. So regardless, what happens with this guy is I need to get that into my chief drawing, so I can see what I want to go through here. I'm going to take this, and actually I want to copy that from here and place it in here. And then looks like I could have used that other piece. So this will be CH there to there. This is the end, so it doesn't have one on the other side. And I just want to make sure that this is 4. So total of 4 3/8 inch long. Unless he doesn't want them to overlap, and maybe 4 is the total length of the tenon. So that's a question to still be answered. But let's go with this for right now. So it's total 4-inch tenon. So this time, this one's going to be right on the edge because that was my original intention, so that I'd end up as much meat over here on the post and as much meat over here on the post, continuous, not breaking the post down. So I think this will be terrific. Now, if I take and if I'm concerned only about the tenon, and I'm not concerned about the post for where I want to put my peg, then I can use this longer line. And so I'm going to draw a line through here. And then I'm going to extend it all the way out. Now I'm going to, let's offset that 0.5, assuming a 1-inch peg. And this I don't have information on. And then, like I even heard there might not be pegs, which doesn't make sense to me. So now I'm going to mirror that about here. And I should have the big picture. And then down at the other end, I need to copy that from there. Let's take it down here. Place it. So these two guys, I want to become independent drawings. So I'm going to do save. And then I'm going to also do a save as. And we're going to put, let's call it end post. Ooh, I don't know what, I didn't get anything at first there. All right, so this is end post plan view. Save. And then I'm just going to, I could have erased this out of that first one. Erase that, erase that. Well, do I want that reference? Might want this reference. So let's just erase the end post. Actually, undo. Let's now just save that because I got hit save before because I got rid of this. And so now I want to do get rid of this end post. Oop. Come on. And now I want to do a save as, so I don't overwrite that. And now I want mid post plan view. Now I've got some reference here. And then I can open the end post plan view, and let's just get rid of all that. So if I zoom extends, there's my end post plan view. Save. Mid post. Zoom extends. Save. Now I can close these down, and within Chief, move that out of the way. Not make it super huge. Boy, Windows 11 is so sensitive with trying to reposition stuff. It can be troublesome. Let's just say that. Not into this whole thing that pops up automatically at the top, but I think I got rid of that. All right, so this is here with no plan in it. So let's go here and look and see what we've got. AutoCAD is off. So now it's on. This is plain working layer set. Okay, so we want it to be off. And then I'm going to go to my with AutoCAD. And I could turn my beam work on, but I'm not worried about it because actually what we need to do here is recreate it. And so I'm going to zoom out a bit. Let's push this down. And then file, import, bring in that both those drawings. So import, next, browse. I'm not going to do that conversion this time, and I want mid post, open, and I'm just going to work with the mid post. Don't hit the polylines this time is what I'm going to do. So next, I don't need 0. I don't need center, handrail. I do need columns. I don't need depth points, and I don't need an north arrow. All right, so let's hit next, and then map all drawings to the AutoCAD layer. Next, automatically, there shouldn't be any, automatically generate a unique name. No, replace the block. I don't think we have any blocks. So then I can control where it goes and hit finish. And we'll just worry about this one for right now. So let's block it real quick because all I've got here is AutoCAD. So I'll move it over and I'll move it down. And this should be that location. And this might snap to there. So I'm going to take and put a CAD line in here. So just throw that there. Hopefully it turns red. Yes, perfect. So the end of this should be the right length. So if I plug that to there, it should end up that this, oh, is this the short side? It is the short side. So we already got posts right here in 3D, and we want to redo them. So let's mirror this about to the other side. We'll do it over there. So I don't want that. I want to give me my selection tool. Thank you. That, and then I must be in crossing again. Yep. So I'm gonna straight up mirror it. I don't need a copy. We'll go right off the center. And then we'll move it into place once we scoot it down. Well, we'll just move it right to here. So point to point. And oh goodness, I hope this works. Okay, so that's that exterior, but I can grab this one and bring it right to that corner of this one. And the reason I can grab there is because this one is exploded. So now that should be right in the post location. So if I want, oh, that's crossing. I need to turn off the crossing. So sometimes I forget which one's which. Let's see what we get. And that went to window. See it switch. Alt-R for window. These are things I programmed into this little guy of mine. 3 objects currently selected. 3 objects currently selected. It's not going up. So that's there. Let's hit delete. And maybe we've got her. Is that delete? No, that's undo. So we want to redo. So that should have been deleting them. I don't know why I can still. Oh, okay. Now I'm not selecting 3 objects. So we should be good because if I. Oh, look at it's not in the right place. So there's my block. Let's check the distance out here. Distance from post to post. Oh, I can't now. You know, I can go this post. All right. So this is 12 feet. That's correct. Oh, this is the short side. That's 19.4. Something got moved. So I need to bring in the original drawing there. What's nice about what I've got sitting here is I should be able to get rid of these CAD lines. So I'm going to erase this. I'm going to bring this whole thing back in from the original, and we'll work with that. We'll leave the CAD lines behind, I think. So be back with you. Hopefully no more power issues. I'm back in here, and so what I've done is I found out that this that I drew in AutoCAD to really outline this, it's just doesn't work out with what I've got going on. So this is 4 inches long, but this is not. This is like 1 7/8 wide. So I'm going to see if I can just edit as a whole. And since that's hanging out, I should have been able to see that it remains straight. I need to get into this drawing. Okay, now let's back up. Let's come across. It looks like it did remain nice and straight. So now that should fit in nicely. I have to, of course, adjust this. And to do that, I need to adjust my plate to 3/8. So that's that one. So we'll rebuild this post if I can't get rid of it. And it doesn't appear that I could pull these out any longer because they were, I think it's because they intersected in the middle. They bypassed each other, which, of course, they will again. And get that straight on down. Oh, this is hard. Tough one to navigate. No, I want to come across, up a little, and bring it down. Over. Why, this is a little sliver I'm trying to work in. It's impossible. I'm going the wrong direction every time. So let's get down pretty close to where we want to be. Now let's see if I can get in there. Now if I pull back and tilt up. Oh, I'm going too far away. Okay, now we're getting, going the wrong way though. Yeah, this is almost worthless. Let me get navigated so I can show you. Alright, so this is not a horrible shot here. I did, of course, lose my highlighter here. Yeah, seem to have really lost it. Even the piece that keeps it. I'll get that through. Okay, that's helpful. Now you can see it. So that's that sliver of difference, the 1/8 inch sliver each side. But where the problem is that I think that's what's causing it, that I can't stretch these back out, is that there is a hole through here. And so there's not a complete plane, but I'm not exactly sure because the ability to do this sort of stuff is pretty new. And so I'm attempting to work on, I guess, a method that I've never, look at that. Maybe I can make them disappear, bring them back to just being beings. That's looking better and better all the time. Okay, that's not bad. Now what I'd like to do is do that at a location where it's not intersecting, but these pieces are not completely attached. So I can pull them away. I think. There we go. Oh, that was me using my phone to navigate. Now, the only issue I have left really is that my, let's back up where I can get a little further away. Yeah, there's that guy. Now this will pull out, make it disappear. Not the Control Z. I think the whole post grew when I did that. I don't know. Yeah, this is moving it. So Control Z to get that little move back. I don't think that's gonna do it. Control sure I didn't change something. So the approach for this, I could try. Yeah, it's still moving the whole post. And now I want that back out of the way. I don't see it. Oh, what's going on there? Got rid of it. Okay. Let's try this one. Got rid of it. All right. We got a solid post. These guys should be at the right height, but now all I need is this plate here. And you could do this here, or I can do it in plan view. And actually, it's kind of easier to position them in plan view. Let's go ahead and size it and position it in plan view. So this is a full inch. We're going to make it 3/8. So I just want to make it 3/8 and bring it in. And that should then be able to be brought across to my actual post, which I don't think is here. That is a CAD block instance. I hit tab. Oh, there's a 3D solid, so that's my post. So I want to take this guy and bring him down, get him in position. So it's going to be on this side, so it's going to be basically a point to point from that point to this point, and it should retain the right height. Now let's just try one before we do another. So I'll take that. I'm going to do a copy, mirror about, the center there, and it looks like it landed right. So now I can say with this, I want to instead grab, and this is the CAD block instance, I want the 3D solid, which, is that just not on the right thing? That's my 3D solid. And working layer set with the AutoCAD. Let's go back to working layer set. Did I lose if I were to select nothing? Yeah, they're here. So I've got my layers. Posts are on. So it just is no longer on the post. Are they all like that? Let's check this one. I'm just going to hit escape. And that is on 3D solid. Okay. So that and that. So grab that. Well, I better do this one first because I don't know what I'm going to get with just CAD block instance. Hit tab. Now I got a 3D solid. Let's just switch this one to work on it. And then I'll do the other one. So what I want to do is open that. Go to its line style. And then, wow, it says it's on 3D post. Oh, it is a 3D solid, but it's on post. It's on the right layer. Okay. So if that's on the right layer, then I want to, I need to move this out of the way. I don't want to accidentally subtract out of my girder. So I'm going to pull it back. Let's just pull it back. And I can tell you that while this all looks fine and dandy, everything got shifted because I moved the, no, maybe not. So let's draw a line. Let's check it. All right, line from there. Let's just go all the way through. Okay, it's in the right spot. Okay, now I'm not so worried about the CAD line as I am everything else. So let's make it selectable. Select this guy. CAD block instance. Don't want that. If I go to working set, I shouldn't have my, that I want on. But that AutoCAD, see, that's it on CAD default. And it should be, see, that's the CAD block. Oh, it's because it was probably blocked in that. So if I open it, then I change this line style to put it onto the AutoCAD layer. There we go. That allows me to have it off. Now it's easier to select this stuff. So I've got this piece, and I'm going to subtract this. And I'm going to say no. What I want to know is, did it do the cut? And it looks like it did. So if I come over here, you can see it did the cut. Now what'll happen is sometimes that face doesn't extend beyond the beam. So I'm going to make a copy of this next one before I actually use it to subtract it. So I'm going to copy, and I'll show you why, because I'll show you what can sometimes happen, even though it didn't this time. Let's just move that out of the way. What sometimes happens is that because this face is right here, the same cut will happen if I stretch this out beyond where I want to cut and stretch this out beyond where I want to cut. It'll guarantee the cut goes well. So now I can come in here, say this, take my subtraction, pick this point. No, I don't want to keep it. And that is now, hopefully, a 3/8 inch deep cut. Let's see where our elevation is on the wrong side to see this. So I'm going to take and go here, grab this, make an elevation on this side. It really doesn't matter once you get to know this program where I put it. That's our outside face. So I just want one from the inside and kind of see what's going on. And then I can flip it around and be able to see what's going on. Let's get my post. There. Nice vector view too. Got those guys. So this is what I wanted to check was, did I get it changed from 1 inch to 3/8? So it's just not going to grab. It's supposed to be grabbing this these days. Distance. There we go. 1 inch. Okay, you guys watch me do that, right? So all I want to do is come over and check it out. Now this is going to be the same, I can tell. Though I'm looking at it. Why did that go back to 1 inch? I know I did it right. Yeah, it's 1 inch too. So I can't explain why that did what it did, but I'm just going to go in and see what I'm supposed to get for a result. And just check this distance. So from there to there, that's like 3/16. Gosh, that's a weird number. Can I grab where that occurred here? Yeah, I can't see it there. I wish there was a way I could turn this to glass view and be able to see through it. But it doesn't look possible. But yeah, I can't tell you what's going on. So I showed you how to do it, so I'm just going to get it fixed. So everything was done right, and I could see what happened. Now, you just couldn't see it in the top view, but we cut out a nothing, because this is the one where it was already cut out, and I was just off a beam, because this is the one we cleared. So I just got to move stuff over. And there's the one we cleared right there. And align it with this guy. So that's why before I did anything with stretching that out, I made a duplicate of this guy, because we're going to need it. So let's get out, come over, place it where we want it. I'm going to do point to point, and this, let me check the distance on this now, because I want to make sure that the stretched one is the one I'm working with. That's 6 inches. Perfect. Okay, so now we can do our point to point. My selection tool, point to point. Boom. And there to there. And that doesn't look right on. Okay, so make sure we move it right on. Very delicate work here. There, got the square. That tells me I'm on it. Now, I have a copy of that over here, but before I do it, I do want to measure it because one of these is where we stretched. So that is 6, and 3/8. Okay, so that one's usable. Oh, we didn't keep it when we got rid of it. So here, let's just first try it and see if we get a good subtraction. So here, and so pick the post, hit the subtraction, pick the piece we want out, save the changes, no, and you can see it cut it out. So I'm just going to copy that. Yes, this is a midpoint, so shoulders on both sides. So here, copy, point to point. I'm going to go from that corner, got it, I'm coming over to the opposite side of this one. There. Now, I'm going to go back to my selection tool and repeat, on and on. So here's the other piece to cut out the mortise. This is an exact tenon. So it's what I want. So I want to copy it. And I don't really care where it lands. As long as it's the right height. So if I open it, the height from the floor is 100 inches. And it was floor to top that I measured, 106. So it hasn't moved vertically. So we're in good shape. I don't care what material it is because we're going to make it disappear. But what I need this one for is that I need to take this and hit tab and stretch it in the X position, not the Y. Relative to start. That should be in the X. You can see the X right here. And so I want to stretch it 3/8. And I don't want to do anything to it in the Y. So I think I want that to be 0. And I'm going to, no, I can't. We'll go check on it. Now let's see what we got. Now it's still 6 inches. So, what is that guy? Nothing. Okay. Pull it out. Hit tab. And I don't know why it's, oh, it's 11/16, so it's saying it's the Y. So they gave us this new nice little symbol down here, but apparently they haven't fixed all of the places within that this needs to happen. So, look, oh, I can't. I'll have to show this to them some other way. A piece of this video. Get them to fix it. So this is 3/8. And then hit OK. And now it's 6 3/8. The reason I did that is because then when I bring it in from the overhead view and position it, I'm going to get what I'm looking for. And I'm going to use this guy as a guide. So let's see what we got. We still have a block. So what I want to do is I do want to go down here, and I want to just draw a simple rectangle over this guy. And there are some things I'm going to have to keep in mind. And this helps. These CAD lines will help with that. This is my exterior face of it. So this is the, if we look at this drawing, oh, come on over. If we look at this guy, what we're doing is we're putting these in here. And so on this large bent, which is the grid, the interior grid, that post and that post, not the exterior grid, then it needs to be to the outside of that. So when I reposition that other piece, I need it to position properly according to that diagram. So let's bring this over. And now that we have kind of what we need here, I'm going to go to AutoCAD only. And all I got left with is this. And then I'm going to turn on the CAD default layer and see if yes, that block showed up. So with the CAD default in this block, let's see, this guy is our interior face line. I'm making him really long, so I can grab him later independently. I guess I could do the same with these. Just make them stick out beyond the building itself. One of these is not quite as far as the other. One of these is not quite like the other. So those are there. And then this is one of our 12s. So if I look at my distance, that's the 14.4. So here, I can't measure this because it won't. So I'm just going to do an approximation. So that's showing 18 feet in the clear space. Oh, but this is not positioned whatsoever. So if I wanted to, I could just bring this over and use it to identify where things go, but it looks flipped. Because this would put the tenon right to the out. No, it's not flipped. Because then this mortise ends up right inside. It's on the edge of the girder, which is no problem. I bet he would want to move these like a 1/4 inch up. So he's cutting into that a little bit. No, it shouldn't matter. Because it's all gonna go into this little shoulder here. So here, and grab that guy. And I can. There's 6 objects currently selected. So with that, I'm going to block it. You really can't block it till you move it. But oh, I've got these. I must have crossing on. See, my crossing's on any window. So there. Oh, now to explode it. Then select only that. Then block it. That's weird. Why is it going way out there? There's something out here that's being selected. Explode. Let's see what we have out here. There's a line there that's short, but it's there. So I'll delete it. Now let's try and grab it. There we go. Now when I block it, I've got real corners, so I can move it to match on that piece there. And then we can figure out if the end is down here. So the ends are on either end. This one's rotated wrong. But yeah, those are all ends. Oh, I see what's going on. So this is our through piece, so all of this. So I need to go back to my crossing. Select. That's window. And that's going to be crossing. And then we have to rotate this so that the face which is, gosh, it's this one, is to the ins. Well, if either way we rotated it, I just have to figure out which one I'm put it on. So if I turn it this way, and I have to match it to this side so that the face is inside as the face was, oh, it's to the outside. See, got this drawing here. So we need to line it up here so that the face is on that side. And so this will be a point-to-point move. This is the one that's we've started editing. The one that's all by itself. Okay, let's give her a shot. So I'm gonna point this from here. Oh, you know what? It's not gonna let us do it yet because I need to explode this. So that's why we were still in like just a CAD mode. And that way these are all CAD lines. Now let's look at this. Those are there, this is there, that's there. So this one matches this one. So I can take this. Come on. Oh, I see what I gotta do. So I have to, oh, it is in crosshairs. Okay, what's going on? Select. There we go. Got it. Explode it. All right. Now it has crosshairs in it, but when we window it, I can delete it. How much did I? Oh, I got rid of the lines there too, so we're going to Control Z. Doesn't look. Is that a window? Oh, look at it's grabbing that. In a window. Oh, we're in crossing again. There we go. Now, if I have that, it really could just stay there. So we're going to take this and we're going to delete it. It's not needed. What we want is our 3D version, which is going to be here. And we moved it without it. So I think I have to actually undo, and we'll get this moving it with the 3D layer on. See, what I did is I had turned my posts off. So you're going to see I left the post behind. So I got to have them on when I rotate this around to be inside here. So I can either redraw this or put it back on there. It's all pretty straightforward. So maybe I'll leave this as an example of where I want these to be. And then let's just put that line. Oh, doing that. It's still an AutoCAD user for sure. Line from there. It didn't quite stay on the end, but I don't care. That's not the necessary part of this is that it comes out to where I can get rid of it when I want to. So there's that. And now I can, if I wanted to, I could see, okay, well, if that's my face, which is this face, then how far in was this line? So I can go at a distance and say from here to here was 4, and then this will be 2. Come on, show me. Yeah, zoom in here. 2. So 4 and a 2. So I can just take this and I'll do the move, copy, replicate, and then we'll bring this whole thing around. Those are ready. So now I can just window select that and turn it. And then we will go point to point, move. We're going to grab that one that we've got blanked out. We're going to bring it up. And when we drop it on here, let's line it up with the one below as well. So, boom, we've got it. Now we got those in place. we left our purlins behind, but that's because we had the layer off, and we're going to treat those independently anyway. So now that this guy's here and waiting, we can stretch this over for a moment. Whoa, on that side. This is the one we want to work on, right here. So I'm going to rotate those purlins around, get one positioned about here, or the other thing is what I was going to show you on this guy is let's use that simple little 3D solid. And I bet our 3D solids are off. Oh yeah, we're in AutoCAD only over here. Here we're not, but here we are. So here I need to go to my working with AutoCAD. And now I've got that piece. So I just bring it up to where we're going to work. And I believe that this should be retaining, oops, wrong one, distance. That, yeah, the 3/8 are there. So now, when I position it here, it'll cut. That shows 4 3/8. So, oh yeah, it's 6 3/8. Yeah, that's too big. Those looking like they weren't the same size, and they sure aren't. But that's an easy thing to fix. So let's take this, drag it back. In fact, to work with a positive number, if you grab this side, pull it, hit tab, then I can make this 2. Okay, and there's 4 3/8. That's what we're looking for. So let's grab it. Let's just make sure that we've got a copy hanging out ready to go. One there. We'll use that copy since it's already selected. And let's rotate it. Then point to point. Let's go. And we exploded this, so all this should be snappable. There we go. So that's actually setting in place. And this is where I ran into some difficulty last time. And everything works out. I can show you why. Now look at that. That's way down there. It's in the wrong post. Stretch it apart. So I'm just getting confused as to which post is which in plan versus 3D. So I just want to move that guy that I just stuck in there down to the other side. As you can see, it's sitting in there, but we're at the wrong post. We're going to take both of them together and move them down to this post. So I will grab that and hit tab. Now I've got it. I'll hold my Alt key and grab that one, and then we're just going to move them. Bring them down. Now let's put it in place. Then we can do our subtraction. So I don't want to grab both. I just want that one. Point to point. There. There. Then select my post. I've got Polyline Solid. It says it's on the AutoCAD layer. So that's confusing me. Is that the post? 3D post. Let's grab it again. Now let's hit tab. That's on the AutoCAD layer. And a line, and then we're out. So this post isn't that post. I wonder if somehow during all of this, I actually moved one of these, which should be the one that we're working on. Layer you on. 3D posts. Why do I not have a 3D post here? That's sitting out there, but it's with the plate, so that's not, this is what we're working with. So with that selected, it says it's on the AutoCAD layer, which is quite confusing. 3D posts. Okay. So 3D post, it's on now. And now we're going to subtract. Doesn't look perfect. It's not. You got to get it perfect before you do the subtraction motion. So without it perfect, let's come in here. Let's nab it. Point to point. Where are you? There you are. There to there. Now we should be perfect. Now let's see when I grab this. It's 3D post. Okay. So that, subtract that. No. And we should have our first piece right in there. And I can see it. I did see it. I'm just having trouble revolving around. But it is cut out. You can see her now. And I don't know if it's because of where I've got the camera or what, but there we go. And there she is. Nicely placed, matching our green line work from what we did in AutoCAD, which I know is accurate. Let's just do the other side, do the other posts, and then we'll position the purlin. Alright, this video got stupid long, especially considering the power outage, but I think I'm going to put a little, wish I could put a touch at the beginning. Maybe I can. If I get to seam the first part to this, I'll try and do a little intro, because one of the things that is kind of cool is so many mistakes were made in the learning process of how to put this thing together and assemble it. May have taken a while, but I skipped a lot of the repetitive work, and you get to see how it all went down. And just from the end standpoint, this is what she looks like. And so all those are offset from each other when you zoom in on them. There's a true mortise and a real tenon. There's a hole in each one. There's a shoulder, so they really sit in there. It's 3/8 inch deep as requested, so you can see that little shoulder being created right there. And then there's the tenon that is actually in a mortise, and then the opposing one. And came out nice. I'm pretty pleased. So real quick, we'll just show you the vector view. Looking at it any other way is kind of useless. I mean, maybe once I get to a render stage, when the whole thing's put together, then doing some more realistic stuff might kind of make sense. But then I got to get all this grain going the right direction, that kind of thing. So not what I'm interested at this point, because I'm looking to try and create construction documents as soon as possible. So anyway, I thought this came out great. Wanted to show it to you real quick and let you see what was going on and how it ended up. So hopefully you guys have as much luck with this as I've had, and enjoy the process, because this is pretty neat modeling. And just remember, one of the big things about this whole deal was really getting these added layers in here. So right now I don't have purlins in, I don't have knee braces, and I don't have rafters. So that'll be next. So that's what I got for now, and I'm going to try and seam this sucker together. Wish me luck. This is Mark Farrar from Not Square Design. Thanks for stopping in.